watching. Thank you so much for joining us. I think this is going to be a pretty good discussion today. When it comes to healthy living, one of the things that I find people struggle the most with is healthy eating. They think that it is something that is difficult, but it doesn't have to be that way. So today we're talking about how to make healthy eating doable using simple habits and accessible resources like Walmart. So let me first introduce myself, and then I will allow Chef Batts to introduce himself, and he is our guest today who will be answering some very important questions and talking to us about healthy eating. So, my name is Dr. Cedrina Calder. I am a double board certified preventive medicine and obesity medicine physician here in Tennessee. So, specialize in healthy living. I talk a lot about health and wellness. I'm a speaker and an entrepreneur as well. Chef Betts, welcome. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Yes, thank you all. My name is Chef Batts. I'm a Nashville native. I've been a chef now for 18 years. I got my start with healthy cooking. My first executive chef job was in a food desert. So eating healthy and showing my people how to cook healthy with flavor is near and dear to my heart. And I'm also the owner of Chef Batts Catering here in Nashville, Tennessee.
That's amazing. I love that. So, with that said, we talk a lot about when it comes to living healthy, we talk a lot about setting ourselves up for success, right? So, when we talk about that from an eating standpoint, what does that look like? What does leading your environment look like? How would you set up a kitchen in order to help impact someone's food choices? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so what we would do would basically kind of because you got to be very organized in the kitchen. You would have your different spices, have your different spices in dry storage, your different fruits and vegetables in your cooler, but also have them in there to where it's health department safe, where you don't have any raw foods over vegetables or any raw foods and vegetables. I'm sorry, any raw foods and vegetables on the same shelf, and also just kind of researching different ingredients that you can use that can be preserved or held longer. Maybe even get some fresh herbs and dehydrate them for them to last longer. But it's all about just organization and not cross contaminating the ingredients that you have.
Okay. Okay. And when it comes to someone who is trying to eat healthier, what can they do in their own kitchen to make it easier on them? Like how can they set up their kitchen? What kind of setup would you suggest for that person?
So I would set my kitchen up to where I'm able to pre-prep a lot of items to give me time to kind of like when I'm buying things, not rushing the store, I can read what's actually in the ingredients so they don't get anything that may cause cancer or may just not be good for me personally because everybody's bodies react differently to different ingredients. But definitely do a lot of pre-planning and pre-prepping. See what ingredients that you maybe can buy in bulk and prep and freeze, or see what ingredients you can buy in can. Just different things like that.
Okay, so that's great that you mentioned prepping because I was actually going to go into that next. And I always, whenever I'm coaching someone, coaching patients, communities, whatever, I'm always harping on how important it is to be prepared, right? Preparation is key. If you really want to
Proper
live,
preparation.
yes, exactly. If you want to be healthier, preparing ahead of time is going to help you stay on track. So, with that said, if someone just went to Walmart and came back, how would you suggest they prep their food for the next 2 to 3 days? What kind of measures can they take? What can they do to prep their food? What are some easy steps?
Easy steps would be, for instance, if it's vegetables, you can go ahead and blanch them, and then you can freeze them. So that way, if you wanted to just keep them longer and want to put about a month later, you can put them out and drop them in some water and reheat them. But basically, getting items that you can pre-prep in your kitchen that won't go bad overnight. So I wouldn't necessarily pre-prep avocado because once the oxidation hits it, it kind of turns gray. but find ingredients that can be prepped days ahead that won't go bad when you're about to eat them. So I suggest a lot of times when people do prep, I stay away from like pre-prepping salmon because salmon only has like a day or two. So I wouldn't prep salmon on a Monday to eat on a Friday, but I would prep some chicken or some beef on a Monday that would last a Friday. But just knowing your ingredients and how long the shelf life is for it to still be good and nutritious to your body when you eat it.
Love that. That's a good tip. So, what about prepping meat? How can you talk to us about that? What would that look like? Say I'm a avid chicken eater or beef eater, whatever. What does that look like? What's the safest, best way to prep meat? Like if you wanted to put it in a freezer, for example. Do you,
Yeah. So
Mhm.
the safest and best way to cook any meat, even if it can be consumed raw, is to cook it well done. Cook it to 165 or whatever temperature it needs to be done. For instance, chicken is 165, beef is like 145, 150, fish is like 150. So you cook it well done so that in the reheating process it's already done. You're just actually reheating it to get it up to temp so there's it so that it doesn't harm your body when you intake it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's good. All right. Another question. I struggle with this a lot sometimes in my household. My husband and I sometimes will buy vegetables and then sometimes we don't
They
eat
go
some of
bad
them
before
and
you
they go
use them.
bad before we get to use them. Now we're throwing out a bunch of spinach. It was like, why did we buy all that?
Right.
But
So
so can
as far
you
as
share
green,
some? Mm-hmm.
yes, as far as green leafy vegetables, if you're gonna eat something for a salad, that should be something that you're gonna prep on a Monday and eat on a Tuesday. But
Okay.
if you're gonna do like green beans, asparagus, things like that, that's just something that you would, and that's a vegetable. Unless you're gonna eat it in the next 2 to 3 days, it can be refrigerated. But if you're gonna pass 3 days, I would freeze it and pull it out the day before I'm gonna use it.
Okay, I love that. Now, are there vegetables that do better being frozen? Are there some that do better than others? What do you suggest?
So root vegetables do really good with holding and freezing.
And
Um,
can you explain what that is
mo
for people who don't know what root
Also
vegetables are?
root vegetables, sweet potatoes, carrots, rutabagas, turnips, things like that. Um, like I said, with the green leafy vegetables, as long as it's not a lettuce, like iceberg lettuce, romaine
Mhm.
lettuce, um, you're good to cook it and freeze it because when you heat it back up, it's gonna be good. But I wouldn't suggest freezing any type of lettuce because once it thaws, all those water crystals is gonna break down and then it's not gonna be nothing but mush.
I love that. Okay, that's a good one. Thank you. So,
You're
when
welcome.
you shop at Walmart, can you tell us what your go-to items are? What are your go-to items if
Um,
you're trying to shop, looking for
my
healthy
go-to
items?
items I would do so. I like a lot of chicken and steak. So the chicken, boneless chicken breast, ribeye steak, or a New York strip, and any fresh leafy green vegetable. Like spinach, green beans, a braised collard green. I love root vegetables, so carrots, sweet potatoes, potato, parsnips, all those things. Brussels sprouts as well.
Love that. I love some Brussels. Some roasted Brussels are, yeah,
Hmm.
love that. Okay, so for people who are trying to shop on a budget, I think one of the things that people assume when they're trying to eat healthy is they assume that it's going to be expensive, right?
Expensive.
We don't have to do organic, right? We can still eat healthier without buying super expensive products. We don't have to go to Whole Foods. So for that
Correct.
person who wants to shop at Walmart, can you explain or tell me some good options, things that they can pick out that will be a little healthier, but still is budget friendly?
Yes. So, we're gonna go right to the point. Great value, any great value product that's there that's healthy will be good for you and cost effective.
Love that. Yes. Love that. Yes. Okay. And then when you are grocery shopping, what are some quick wins for someone? What are those like these
Buy
need to
one, get
be in
one
my
free.
cart type of thing? Okay. Love that. Yes.
I love buy one,
Anything
get
that's
one
on sale.
free. Anything is on sale. Any
Love that.
opportunity to buy. Um, and also, but sometimes I like to try new things. So a win for me is going and seeing a product I've never seen and being interested in trying it. But I definitely love the buy one get one free or buy this and get a percentage off of this.
I love that. And it kind of goes back to what you were saying about the prepping. So if you find those items on sale, you can buy
Yeah,
in bulk,
buy it
prep
in
them,
bulk and
and
prep it
put
up
them in
ahead.
the
You can
freezer or whatever.
freeze half of it and use half of
Mhm.
it for that week that you're meal prepping for.
Exactly. So, yep, love that. Okay. So, what helps you stay consistent with your eating when life gets busy? Because we all know everybody's busy, everyone's juggling jobs and families and all these different activities. How do you stay consistent with, your eating? Is it a lot of meal prep? Like, what helps you?
So it's a lot of planning. In the
Mhm.
beginning of the week, I just look at my week and what I have to do. So if I have a lot of activities where I'm going to use a lot of energy, I would pre-prep a lot of items with carbohydrates that I can eat the day before to give me energy the day after. So
Love
it's like I
that.
said, like we said from the beginning, it's being organized and just planning your week out to know what you're going to eat. So that way, regardless of time constraints, you have the food and the items you need. You just got to grab and go, basically.
Exactly. Grab and go is important because
Exactly.
when we don't have access to the food that is healthier, we're going to get the next best thing. Well,
You'll
not
get the next
best, but
best
the
thing.
next
Don't get the
quickest
grab and
thing,
go
right?
unhealthy. Right.
Exactly. We're going to go to the fast food, grab something quick, things that aren't healthy for us. So I always coach people on that. You want to eat healthier, then you need to have those things available to you at all times. So
Exactly.
there's no other option, right? That's good. Okay. Now, when you do go grocery shopping, what do you do as soon as you get home with the groceries you purchase? Like, how do you organize your kitchen? Like, what do you do first? Do you just immediately start prepping?
So so the first thing I do is I put all the cold stuff up, put all the dry stuff up, and it's basically like my kitchen is my canvas. So once I get all the my mise en place in place and I have my menu, I go from the beginning of the week to the end, and that's how I prep. So I start with the things I'm going to eat. I cook all the proteins, and then I cook all the vegetables, and then I put them together and store them in the refrigerator.
Love that. So you mentioned a menu. Can we talk a little bit about that? What would your suggestion be for someone who's not a chef, right? And who's just kind of doing the basics? How can they put together a menu for themselves? What's an easy way for them to do that?
Well, just think about the things that you like to eat now. Think about all those unhealthy things that you go to the store and eat, or go to a restaurant and eat, and you can actually just get the ingredients from those things you like and make them yourself and make them more healthier.
Love
So
that.
just
Okay.
take what you eat daily and just go buy those things and just put your flair on it, or you can go to the website and look at the recipes that Walmart has on there to
Yep,
assist you.
that's a good tip. Walmart does have plenty of recipes for people who want to try some new things. I always say, try new things if you're trying to be healthier, because when you run out of things to eat, it gets boring, right?
Yeah,
So,
you go, then you revert back to just going to grab what you usually eat.
exactly. Exactly. Okay. So what is one thing that someone who's listening out there can do who wants to eat healthier? What is one thing that they can do today to get started?
I would say the first thing they should do is create a menu they think they would like to prep for their meals, and then go from there.
Okay.
Get
I
that
love
get that framework down.
Okay, love that. Okay, so that's great. All right. Well, you've heard from Chef Bats, you've heard from a professional chef on all of the options that you have in order to eat healthier. These are great tips. So utilize some of the suggestions he's made and recommendations and things that he does in his own life to make some changes in yours. Like I said, you can just start small. You don't have to do everything at one time. Pick a couple of things
Yeah.
that you can make changes to and start there. So start small, shop simple, and prep a little. And that's how you eat well and live better. Thank you for joining